We have been doing a series on the 12 steps, and we are at step 11. We're getting close to the end here. So just a little review, and the reason we do this is because there is nothing in the 12 steps that is not spelled out in every religion on the planet. It's all simply taking of wisdom from several places, or actually taking wisdom directly from the one and putting it into an order that we can follow step by step. And if we do so, we are guaranteed to recover from whatever it is that ails us. I'm buzzing. Do I need to use the other microphone? What do I? Hello? Okay. All right. Awesome. That was me. Sorry about that. Well, it's not going to stay on my ear. It's gotten stretched out. So, in step 1, all we did was say, what we've been doing so far hasn't been working very well. I can't do this of myself. And Jesus said those words, of myself I can do nothing. It is the Father within who does the works. And so we simply take a look around and go, okay, I'm going to stop swimming upstream. I'm going to stop beating my head against the same brick wall and admit to myself, at least, that I can't do it anymore. And it's hard to say that we're powerless in New Thought. We don't want to believe that. But our humanness, our ego is powerless. And only when we tap into the power of the one, into the power of God, our higher self, all of those names that I just read, Holy One, Spirit, Gaia, Spirit of Nature, God of Sarah, whatever, it doesn't matter what the word is. It only matters that we surrender to it. That we say, I'm going to take my ego out of the driver's seat and I'm going to put it over here in the passenger seat, as long as it behaves. If it starts really behaving ill, I'm going to put it in the back seat. But it's never going to be in the driver's seat again. I've got God, whatever I call God, in the driver's seat. And that is step 2, to come to believe that something greater than our ego, than our little selves, could make us sane again. And we know that beating our head against a brick wall is insanity. We know that swimming upriver and getting beaten to death by the stream when all we really have to do is float down it is insanity. And so we get restored to that sanity. How do we do that? We make a decision to turn our will and our lives over to that power, however we see that power. Whatever name we give that power. It doesn't matter what the name is. It matters to you because it has to be a name that's meaningful to you. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the steps where a lot of people leave the 12 steps because the other things are in your head and in your heart, hopefully. These are the steps where you actually put pen to paper, where you actually share from your heart, where you actually expose your vulnerability, making you humble and allowing that Spirit of God to come in and do a different thing. And it starts with making an inventory. This is what's been going on so far. This is what I have. These are the tools that I've been using that have not been working for me. And also, here's some tools that I sometimes use that tend to work. I've got all of it, but I'm going to make an inventory of all of it. It's not just bad. And then I'm going to share that inventory. I'm going to share it with myself. I'm going to share it with God. I'm going to share it with another human being. And I always like to say this. The reason I think we share it with another human being is so we can't take it back. If we've only said it to ourselves and God in our secret place, then we can pretend that never happened. Let's just go forth. The moment we say it out loud to another human being, we have spoken it into the air. We've spoken it into the air. And then we become entirely ready to allow those tools which don't work to be either retooled into something that does or let go. And then we ask for that, not from our human selves working really, really, really hard with a welding torch to make these tools different, but from our God self, from that connection, that power that is all that there is all that is, all that ever has been. We connect with that and we say, yes, I need help. I need help. I'm ready, and I want to surrender all of that. In steps 8, 9, and 10, we begin to really clean up our side of the street with the information that we gathered during our inventory. And that is, if we are carrying shame, we learn to let go of that. If we are carrying guilt, which means we actually did something, then we can make amends for that. Shame isn't the time that you did something. It's the time that you took on someone else's feelings about something. And so we're learning to sort that out through the inventory. What am I ashamed of, which isn't mine at all? And what do I feel guilty about, which, I did that. I have a tendency to do that. I need to stop doing it. And maybe make amends to whom I have done it to, perhaps. I know I have to make amends to my husband all the time, just because he's the closest one. If y'all lived with me, I'd be making a lot of amends to you. But hopefully my amends over the years have been more living amends, that I simply learned to stop doing that which doesn't serve me, that which I have to feel guilty about. And step 10 provides for that. We go through that inventory every day. We say, okay, how'd I do? According to how I want to live and how I actually did live today, is there anything that I need to clean up right now? And then we keep it clean, and we don't have to go through that really painful process again. We're just keeping our side of the street clean. Now we're at step 11. 10, 11, 12 are often called the maintenance steps. Okay, we've already done the really, really hard work. But it all goes away if we don't keep at it. Any of you speak a foreign language, or did many years ago in high school or college, or when you lived in a foreign country, and now you can't remember the words? Because you're not using it. The language goes away when you're not using it. So this is what maintenance means. We start using the language of God in our lives, in our prayers, in our interactions with others. And step 11 says this: sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, praying only for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. That's a lot of words, a lot of powerful words in there. Let's look at them. So first of all, we got to keep in touch with ourselves and keep in touch with our higher power, however we envision that. Whether that's God, whether that's nature, whether that is surrendering to a group of people who carry great wisdom, it doesn't really matter as long as it works for us. And by this time, we know what works for us. This is where the work we did in step 2 really comes in. We have a clearer understanding, not the final understanding, because I still don't have my final understanding of God. It evolves and evolves and evolves, and that's okay because I'm evolving. Why wouldn't my understanding of the ununderstandable evolve along with me? And that's the beauty of it. God never gets boring. There's always something else. So we keep in touch with ourselves. We are seeking, past tense, we sought, and we continue to seek through prayer and meditation. So what is prayer? Prayer is, I've heard people say, prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening to God. It's kind of a beautiful way to look at it. But prayer is realizing, acknowledging, speaking our truth. What prayer isn't, what we know in New Thought, which is not a new thought, which has actually been taught for ages and ages, and then, covered up by people who were threatened by it, and then brought out into the light again. What we know is that we're not begging for anything. That's not why we pray. That's not why we pray. We're saying, here is the truth that I know. I'm saying, help me remember the truth that I know, because little Melinda wants to run in and make a little circus out of it. But that observer in me, that witness, that one who is aligned with all that is, that knows God, that knows the God of my understanding, that is the truth that I speak to, and the truth that I ask help from. Help me remember who I am. Who I am is this: I am beloved, I am loving, I am an expression of the divine, unique in every way, and yet one with everybody else who ever lived or ever will live. You can't get your brain around that, which is a relief, so you can just let your brain go. When I say I release and let go, we can let your brain go a little bit. And let your heart do the work, because your heart will know. Your heart does know. So in prayer, we're realizing the truth. We are speaking the truth. We are acknowledging what is true. We are then, to the best of our ability, as we go out into the world, able to be the truth that we know. If we don't spend any time reminding ourselves, speaking, thinking about the truth that we know, then we're not going to be it when we walk out the front door and the weather is bad or the drivers are terrible. Right? We're not going to be able to be it unless we spend that time in prayer. And in that time in prayer, in that speaking with God, we can ask, I got questions. I need help. Not, please, please, please fix this for me, but let me know. Help me be in the right frame of mind to understand. Help my heart be open enough to receive the guidance that will get me to where God in me wants me to be. Wants me to be. I had a friend who used to write, "Woman God wants me to be, woman I don't want to be." And she would make her inventory that way daily. It's like, these are the ways that I showed up as the truth of who I am. These are the ways that I didn't. I might need some help with those. And I might need to spend more time and concentrate on these. This is what I want. Realizing, acknowledging, becoming open to guidance. Meditation. Now, meditation can be contemplation. It can be taking a thought, a truth, a word, and just holding on to it while we let our mind be still from anything else. Meditation, as I said in that poem I read a little while ago, and prayer, if no one can tell you how to pray, I'm giving you some ideas. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you, if you're doing what you're doing and it's not working for you, you might try something different. That's all I'm saying. So meditation is listening. And I know that when I sit down to listen, that's an invitation to a panic attack, because the voice in my head has lots to say. So I have to get clear, that's not what I'm listening to. I don't want to listen to that. I want to go to a deeper place, and for me, it takes a little more time to get to that deeper place. We're listening and we are allowing. Because by this time, we've seen results from our actions. We've seen results from the change in our thinking. I promise you, you have seen results from your changes in thinking all through your lives. And this is your opportunity to reflect on that and go, you know what? I've come this far. This is probably not the end. There's probably more. There's more. So we listen, we know the truth. Ooh, you know the truth. How much time do you spend simply knowing the truth? That can be your meditation. I know that I am one with God. I am one with all that is. All that is one with me. You spend some time knowing that, bringing it into your conscious awareness so that your subconscious can eventually grab hold of it and know it to be the truth. When you do that, your whole world will change. But if you say you believe it and you don't spend any time with it, if you don't practice it, then it's probably not going to work miracles in your life. It's the practice that does it. Allowing God to be God in me. That's a beautiful meditation. I'm just going to sit here. I got nothing to do. I got no good ideas. But what I know is that I am one with God. So I'm just going to allow God to be God in this body right now. And just sit with it. And when thoughts that are definitely Melinda thoughts, you're not doing that right. Why'd you do that? Let's try to create a different ending to the conversation that you had yesterday that will never happen again. All of those kinds of thoughts. When I see them, I just go, nope, I'm allowing God to be God. There's plenty of time for Melinda to be Melinda. I'm going to allow God to be God in me right now. One way that I like to meditate, and it's usually when I'm in that sort of dark place, the way Leonard Cohen was when he wrote this song, is to say, I'm just going to sit here and let you love me. You meaning whatever. It definitely has to mean me, because if I don't love me, it doesn't matter what else or who else loves me. And so I claim that. I claim that blessing. I claim that I am part of that that which loves me is also me. It's not just me, but it's also me. And so I'm going to allow the love in. Just sit for a few minutes. Maybe set a timer. For 20 minutes, I'm just going to sit here and be loved. If you have a cat to get on your lap while you do that, that can be helpful as well. Or a small dog. I wouldn't recommend large, slobbery ones like I have. Listening, allowing, coming to know. Coming to a place where we get to our center, because we live so much in the periphery in daily life. We live according to results. We live according to what's on the screen. But the only thing that changes us is to change what's in the projector. So meditation and prayer is our time to change what's in the projector so that we begin to project different things. It's our time apart to come to center, to remember, to be aware, finally, of love, which is my personal favorite word for God. Because all the other words have a lot of baggage, and I love whatever word you use. I support you fully in that. But sometimes even the word God, which I mostly feel comfortable with, will start to do a number on my brain, because my brain wants to make it a being who's making decisions about me. No. God is not a being. God is being. And what is God being? God is being love. And so, finally, love. I'm going to let love love me. I'm going to let the love in me be love. Wow. Spend a few minutes a day doing that and see what it changes. It's our awareness of love. So we sought and we continue seeking through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God. This shows that we already have conscious contact. If you've come this far, if you're in this room, there is something in you that is already in contact or that is longing to make contact. And I promise you that if you remove one veil, the contact will be made. God's not holding back. You might be. Sometimes I do. And then I can remember, nope, I don't need all of that. I can go direct. I don't need an interceder. I don't need Jesus. I don't need the priest. I don't need a book. I don't need a preacher. I have my own direct line to what is true. So I'm going to spend some time with that. And that will help to improve my conscious contact, because there's always room to grow. Until you're dead, there's always room to grow in this human life. And after you're dead, as far as I know, the sky's the limit. Got plenty of room to grow then too. But right now, this physical world is what we're dealing with. And so we keep reminding ourselves that we are not just in the physical world. We stay awake. That's really it. We have woken up at some point. And now we get to do whatever is necessary to keep ourselves awake. Okay, God, I just want to stay awake. Please don't let me go back to sleep. It's too hard to wake up again. Help me to stay awake. And I love this. Improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God. And that is where your step 2 work comes in handy. You keep evolving who God is, what God is. If your God is in any way not loving, throw it away and start again, which you can do at any time. That poem so beautifully says, whatever it is about God that is not loving is not God. It's what somebody told you and some part of you believed. So they don't know any better than you do. No one's a greater expert than you on you and your heart. Throw away what doesn't serve and invite in that understanding and keep seeking. And then praying only, not for, I want this, I want that, I want this is the outcome I want. And I promise y'all, I have a lot of outcomes that I want. And they're with me all the time as I go through my day. But when I sit down to pray, okay, let's get the I want out of the way and pray for knowledge of God's will for me and the power to carry that out. And that is a scary thing, God's will. If you ever hear somebody say it in a movie or in a hospital, it was God's will. It's usually something really bad, you know? Sorry you were in that accident and lost both legs. It was God's will. It was God's will that the sun came up this morning. It is God's will that you take a breath right now and again and again and again and again and again. It is God's will that you live. It is God's will that you know love. It is God's will. And here's the deal. I've said this many times in my ministry. I think I said it the first week I was here. If you are talking about God, thinking about God, reading about God, and you can't take the word God out and substitute the word love and have it make sense, then that's not God. That's not God. So when I say God's will for me, I'm not talking about, well, I might have to surrender and lose my legs in an accident. I'm saying love's will for me. What does love want for me? What is not just the most loving being there could ever possibly be, but love itself. What does love itself want for me? Because guess what? We align ourselves with all kinds of things that aren't love itself because we think they're going to be the answer. We think it's this job or this person that's going to finally love us back, or this politician that's going to finally change things, or whatever. We think those things will change us, but none of those things will change us. Anything that we change on the screen is very temporary, if it happens at all. What we change in the projector is the truth of us from that moment on. And so praying only for love's will for me and the power to carry that out. Guess what? When I understand that love is the only will for me, that I'm here because of love, that I'm made of love, that I'm here for the purpose of loving and being loved, and being love in the world for others, yeah, what greater thing could I ask for? What greater thing could I ask for than that? And so love's will for us and the power to carry that out. Guess what the power is? The power is love. If you have enough love, you can love. And guess what? You have enough love because you're made of love. You came from love. Love is where you're going. Love is the actual path that you're on right now. That's the truth. And you might spend some time in prayer and meditation reminding yourself of that truth, because there's a lot out there on the screen that will tell you otherwise. So spend some time in the projection room. The power to carry love out so that we can be love in the world. That is the result of improving our conscious contact with love as we understand love. Thank you. So we're just going to have a couple of moments of meditation, of allowing. So I invite you to just take in a breath, get still, be where you are. Don't try to be somewhere else. Whatever you brought in with you, whatever worries, whatever anxieties, whatever plans, whatever your list is, whatever's irking you, You don't have to send it away. Just say, sit over there for now because I'm doing something else. And the something else I'm doing is just sitting in a pool of love. Imagine love as the vastest of seas. We have a tendency to take a cup to the edge of the sea and fill it up, and then walk away and wonder, how did we run out of sea? So how did we run out of water so fast? And then as we grow, we begin to understand that we get to fill any size cup we want. We stop going to the ocean of God for a thimbleful. We start bringing a large vessel. Eventually, we understand that no matter the size of the cup, it itself is limiting. So we put the cup down and we pick up a hose. We put one end into the ocean of God and we draw upon it so that there is a never-ending flow of that love. We have a direct conduit. We don't have to have a vessel. We have a direct conduit, and we can carry it with us so that we're never out of water. And when we learn to do that, we begin to feel love and see love in places that we never saw or felt love before. And we understand it's because we're the ones bringing the love. There's no amount of love that someone else isn't giving that we can make them give us. And yet, when we bring love to the situation is love. So we have that conduit. We're able to sprinkle or pour love on anything and everything, including ourselves. Now, sometimes we forget and the hose gets kinked. We start to feel dry and parched, but we've learned to recognize, oh, wait a minute. All I need to do is open that connection. Just open it to the flow again, and that is prayer. Love, help me unkink my hose so that love can flow with me, on me, through me, wherever I go. And we learn to do so, little by little, bit by bit, until one day we put down the hose and we walk into the ocean. Allow ourselves to sink into it, knowing that love is actually not something separate from us at all. We don't need a cup or a hose. We are that. We sink into it, we play in it, we relax in it. We swim in it. We float in it. And that is meditation. An opportunity to put down all of those ways that we try to contact love and just immerse ourselves in the love. And so right now we are immersed. We are immersed. Not we'll get there someday, but right now, already, we are immersed in perfect love. Our only job is to allow ourselves to feel and know it. And if feelings of awe or wonder come up, wow, can it really be this? Can it be this good? Can it really be this for me? Ask love, because love always answers yes. Yes. And yes. And we get to spend time there. Not time in love, we're already in love, but time consciously bathing ourselves in it, consciously allowing it to do its work in us. And then when we open ourselves to this world on the screen, when we open our eyes to this physical place, we carry with us that knowledge, that feeling, that knowing that love is ours. And it changes everything. Thank you for being love in my life. And so it is.